Cuba, it's me, episode 61 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now, there's been some talk about indie wrestling versus like the big WWE and whatnot. What is better? What the wrestlers are better? All this stuff. So maybe I should weigh in on this. I love talking about wrestling. I love talking about indie wrestling. And, of course, I love talking about WWE too. I love it all. Wrestling is wrestling. It's subjective. Everyone likes different kind of wrestling. Some people like high-flying cruiserweight matches. Some people like strong style. Some people like brawls. Some people like hardcore. Some people like where they just tell a story with the characters. Well, let's pose this question. What if 1 week before WrestleMania, the entire WWE locker room got the mumps or got sick or something, and they still had to put the show on, so they had to call in the best 30 indie wrestlers from around the world to come in and do the show? Would the show be still good if they had the same stories? Like, obviously, this is hypothetically speaking, obviously it would never happen, but like if they had the same stories, which obviously they would need more than a week to build up to these stories, but would it be as good? Or how about this? What if you got an indie show and you had 500 people that had never watched wrestling before, and half the matches were the best WWE guys and half the matches were the best indie guys? What matches would the crowd think was the best? I'm sure everyone would have different opinions, mixed opinions. And then everyone likes to be a backseat quarterback and like talk about if they ran the shows they would do this, and they ran the shows they would do this, and they would do this different and this different. And also, like as a fan, you would say, well, I would book this match versus this match for this match for this match. But if you were a fan running a wrestling promotion and you were trying to make money, would you book the same matches that you want to see, or would you book the matches that you think would get more people coming back to your show? And then there's also the talk of like, if you get signed to WWE and you've never been in the indies, and then you turn out to be a great wrestler, or someone that's been in the indies for 15 years and worked their ass off to get to the WWE and is a great wrestler, what is the difference? Some people are born with it, some people have to work with it. Maybe even some of those indie guys that have been on the indies for 15 years, maybe they're born with it too, but everyone has different roots to it and whatnot. And like, really, like I know people are commenting this, and everyone likes to talk, what is the truth? I don't think there is a truth. I think if you ask 500 people, you get 500 different answers. Like, really? And like, some things I feel are better about indie wrestling because, like, if you took one of those WWE stars and you had them in an indie building, they could try things. Like, working is way different. When you're working for WWE, you're working to the hard cam, you're working to the guy at the very top row of the nosebleed section, and you're working for the TV product. Whereas on indie, you could take that same guy and put him in an indie show with 200 fans, and he can actually look and make eye contact with every single one of those 200 fans. Would he wrestle different? And plus, like, I know when the WWE guys go and do, like, the house shows, that's when they can try out stuff and see how it will work and get ready for the big TV and the big pay-per-views and stuff. But, like, honestly, will anyone ever be able to compete with WWE? If someone had billions of dollars and could steal most of the WWE's talent and get a bunch of TV airtime just like them and get their own network, I don't know if they could ever take over WWE because WWE has the history. It's always going to be starting from scratch, and people don't want to jump on the bandwagon. They don't want to be the first until everybody else likes it. Then they want to like it. Like, it's so weird. But, like, I honestly think about that all the time. Like, if I won $500 million in the lottery and I could start my own wrestling promotion, how would I go about doing it? What would be the best way? Would I create new talent? Would I rob the indies, like kind of like the old territory days, take all the best indie guys and make a new? Or would I like try and take the WWE guys, the ones that offer them more money and better contracts and less dates, kind of like WCW did? Like, what would be the best way? And I don't know if I have an answer, but I love to sit and daydream about that kind of stuff. And I feel like indie shows are more intimate too. Like, you can really interact with the crowd, where the WWE guys, they can really only interact with the guys in the front row, and that's it. And like, I've had people that I've asked them the questions, what do you like better about WWE and what do you like better about indie? And like, everyone has different answers, so it's hard to say. I think they're both great. They really are. And I love wrestling, no matter what wrestling. I even love the stuff that I don't love, the stuff that I don't want to watch. I still got love for it because I see they're trying to get the certain audience, because there's so many different things. Like, it's just like the Olympics, it gets great ratings, but everyone watches different events and different sports, right? Well, I think the same's with wrestling, and I really am just happy that we can have this conversation, because wrestling is so popular right now, and everyone's making good money, and it's a great conversation to have. It's a great situation we're in, and like, honestly, like, if someone said, if you got offered $1,000,000, but you could wrestle for any promotion in the world, but they're gonna pay you the same, give you the same amount of dates, which one would you choose? I mean, I probably would choose WWE because they have the bigger audience, so it would reach the most eyes. Or would I want to go to a different Fed and be the reason for it to, like, surpass WWE? I don't know. Like, there'd be a lot of, like, WWE's already established, so like WWE, no matter who comes in and who comes out, they're always gonna be so great. So you're just another spoke in the wheel, so to speak. Whereas if you went somewhere and you helped build up that company, wouldn't you take more pride in that? But what if it doesn't work? Like, if you only had 5 years left in your career, would you want to do it WWE? I mean, you probably would, money-wise, because then after that, you can get booked for a lot of autographs, you can sell more shirts, you can make more money. I just love talking about this stuff, but the real reason I'm doing it is because I want to hear other people's opinions and what they have to say about it, and like, also too, what style they like. Do you like to see the guys go out and do 50 dives and then no sell them? Or do you like when they tell a story but they barely take any bumps? Like, would you rather see Big Show versus Kane? Two huge guys that are surreal. Like, I like the big guys too. Like, I know I'm not a big guy, but I mean, I like the old wrestling where it's like, if you walk down the street, you would not want to run into the wrestler because you know he could beat you up. Whereas nowadays, you got some gymnastic guy coming in, and he could do all this amazing stuff, and but he couldn't beat up his own mother in a fight. But like, it's also kayfabe. Kayfabe is dead now. So back then, you believed that these people could beat people up, but now the fans are too smart, and they know that it's not true, and they're not. Some of them are tough, and some of them aren't tough, but they don't care because they're just about the performance. I don't know. Like, I think if I ran my own Fed, I'd have to like have a little bit of everything. I'd have to have like a really good ladies match. I'd have to have a comedy match. I'd have to have a brawling match. I'd have to have like a really good story match. Like, I think you'd have to cover all the bases. And I find a lot of the companies are trying to do that and doing a pretty good job of it, but you'll still never please everybody because they would rather this guy is a champion, or they would rather these two have a match than these two, and this guy's really over, and you can't even be a heel nowadays. Back in the day, when you were a heel, the people really wanted to see you get beat up, so they would tune in to watch it. Now I find if there's someone I don't like, that you just change the channel. It's like, I don't want to watch them, so I just change the channel. The attention span is down. And also, like, with the fans being so smart nowadays, if you are a heel and you're doing such a good job of entertaining people, then the fans start to get behind you because they appreciate your work. Even though you're trying to make them hate you, they start liking you because they see how good you're doing at making them hate you. It's crazy. Like, look at Jericho. He was such a good heel, and that turned him face, and it happens all the time. How do you be a heel? Like, Kevin Owens is a heel, but he's such a good talker that people respect him. So yeah, like, and also the audience is different. Like, look at Roman Reigns and John Cena from the past. Like, the kids and the girls will cheer for them, but the smart wrestling fans don't want to be shoved down the throat. How do they make a new star? Really? Like, how do they make a new star? Because if they start pushing someone to make them a star, then the fans don't like that. So it has to be organic. And it has to be like, the fans made it. Like, I remember a couple years back again, they're always like, oh, the fans changed the main event of WrestleMania. It was supposed to be Randy Orton and Batista. And Daniel Bryan, due to the fans, got in there. Like, I don't believe that. I think they knew what they were doing all along, and they just let the fans think that. But I don't think they actually I think the fans did dictate it, but they dictated it like a year before, so they just did a smart, slow build. And I even feel with WWE, they really have their pulse on things nowadays. They know when they're going to go to a town, when this person's going to get booed, and they know they're going to, like a CM Punk chant's going to start in Chicago, so they have like a good thing to try and cut them off from it. They know like the Raw after WrestleMania, they're going to cheer the faces, or cheer the heels and boo the faces, you know what I mean? And it's so great, like nowadays, like that they've adjusted to the change of the times. But I don't know if I like the times as much. I like that wrestling is more popular now. I like that it's booming and a lot of people are getting paydays and the boys are getting work everywhere. But I do miss the old kayfabe as well. But also people are so sensitive, like everyone that says bring back the Attitude Era. Can you really do that? I mean, look at when I was a teenager listening to music, DMX would drop the word FAG on like every sentence, calling his foes or whoever he was dissing, they would call him that, and it was just it wasn't really even anything against gays. It was just like a swear word. But now, like Kevin Pillar drops the word in a heated moment, and he's not saying it to bash gay people. But just people are so sensitive now, and I mean they should find other words to use, obviously, because we all have friends and family that are part of the community, right? The lesbian, gay community, and what the the LGBT. I can't even say it, but I mean, you could never do an Attitude Era now because people are too sensitive. And anytime someone tries to do something risky in wrestling, most of the time it's not WWE because they got stockholders and stuff. But when other people try to do something risky nowadays, it gets people talking about them, but a lot of times in a negative way, and a lot of times it gets them blackballed a little bit, where people won't want to watch this stuff. And like ECW, I don't think ECW would fly nowadays. I wish it wasn't that way. Our society has become too sensitive. Every kid gets a trophy. You're not allowed to say how you feel, even if you're right or wrong, because especially because of the internet, you could say something and people would talk about it around the water cooler, but now people can actually go on the internet and argue with each other, and it's just, what a different world we live in today. It really is. I just wanted to rant. I've been thinking about all this. I didn't really know where this was going to go. Maybe it was a good rant, maybe it wasn't. You tell me. But this is episode 61 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is wrestling. Remember, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. Tell me what you think. I want to know. I do this show for people to talk. I don't just do it to talk to the camera, and if I did, I wouldn't even upload it. I want to know what other people think, so please tell me. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!